All right, so the #1 name out there when it comes to home painting systems is Wagner. They've been that for many, many years. I own a Wagner system. I've owned it for about 8 years, and I love it. I use it a couple times a year to get a fresh coat of paint on my porch. I have a shed. Everybody's seen my shed in my backyard. How do you think I paint that? I don't use a brush or a roller. I use my Wagner. What I love about this one is it's the latest and greatest. They made it a more lightweight design. They're giving you everything you could possibly want. A couple of different spray containers. You have that incredible, powerful spray, but in a lighter design. The compressor is built up top in your hand, so it makes it really, really easy to use and to spray. And all you do is pull the trigger. Fill it with paint, any kind of paint, stain, milk paint, thick paint, thin paint, doesn't matter. And all you do is pull the trigger. You can direct the spray and change it to a lateral spray or an up and down spray. You can adjust the amount of spray, the air power right on top. It's so easy. It just disconnects for easy cleaning. You rinse it out, you're good to go, or put a cap on the paint to save it. We're giving you everything you could possibly want. You're getting the tape and drape, so you've got stuff to be able to cover the areas you don't want to paint. As I said, we're throwing in 2 of the extra paint containers. Those go along with it. You're getting 2 5-packs of cup liners to go with this as well, and you're getting a case to carry it wherever you go. The retail value is over $200 on this, okay? You're not gonna spend that. You're gonna spend half that today, okay? Instead of $209.42, you're gonna spend $119.95, only $23 on your credit card. Any project, indoors, outdoors. I've used it to paint walls, doors, outdoor furniture. I painted my mailbox. I painted my shed. I've done all that, and I saved myself a fortune. Plus, not only is it easier, it's a better job. It's what the professionals do. When's the last time you saw a house painter painting a house with a paintbrush? They use a sprayer. It's faster and it looks better. Here's Lou Caputo. He's gonna take you on a little tour, and then I'll do some demos as well. Hi, Lou.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, this is the lightest and the quietest Wagner FLEXIO that we've ever offered, and the most comprehensive set. I mean, you get everything you need to paint with this. All you got to do is literally just add the paint. By the way, the extra 2 paint cups that you showed on the table there with the lids, they actually don't come with the today's special set, but they are available for purchase separately today, as are the paint tents that you've got out there that the Adirondack chair and the frame are in. So just some extra things you can buy, you know, to really round everything out. But let me show you this door right here, because this door, you know, if you ever painted a door, you got to do both sides, you got to do all the edges on the door, and then there's all this work, all the detail inside of this. Watch how quickly I can do this with my FLEXIO 3500 Plus, because this has that X-Boost turbine inside of it, which I completely customize the flow of the air going through this, so I can get as much or as little force coming out as I want. I turn it on with one finger. It's not gonna spray till I pull the trigger. And watch this. And you know, everything you're gonna see me do here, I'm doing with undiluted paint, okay? This is latex that's going on here right now, but it's not thinned out at all. This is full force, and a lot of sprayers can't do that. They actually have a problem with any kind of a thick paint like this or a stain, but you're not gonna have that issue with the FLEXIO 3500 Plus, because it can easily do that. By the way, you can see this is quiet. I mean, compared to some of the other models I've used in the past, this is the quietest one I've ever used. And I want you to notice something else. Look at how even the coating is that's going on here. The job this is doing, I'm gonna do one coat on this, and it's going to look like I had done a couple of coats with a roller and a brush, because I can control how much material I'm using. But the weird part about that is I'm actually using less material. I'm using less paint to do this job. I'm gonna do it faster, and then, Guy, at the end of the day, it's going to dry quicker too. So, I mean, literally every aspect of this is just faster. It's gonna make it easier, and like you said at the beginning, if you don't like the paint, you don't own a Wagner, because this is going to actually make all the difference in the world for you and make you want to paint things. Boom, look at that, Guy. Done.
I can't. I watch you. I'm always amazed, even though I know I shouldn't be, because I know it's Wagner, but to be able to see you do that, because normally, if you were to do a door like the one Lou is standing right there by, you'd have to first do all those little boxes with a paintbrush, right? Because there's no way you're going to get in there with a roller. You know, and then maybe you got to switch over to a roller. Not only that, you're going down to the floor, back up to the door, down to the floor, to where the bucket, all that. Why do that when everything is controlled right in your hand? All right. By the way, I do want to mention that we do have our the extra buckets available. We have the 2-pack of buckets available, and we also have the spray tent, which I'll show you. There's the 2-pack of cups with the lids. Those are available. 655098 is the item number. And then we also have the 10. So if you are doing projects like crafting or like we are doing on our Adirondack chair, in fact, can I go paint this chair? So let me just show you. Come on in real quick. And guys, can you go really tight on the chair for a sec? I want to show how many hard areas and cracks and crevices are in an Adirondack chair. And that's not even a wicker chair. Wicker's 10 times worse, and Lou will show you that. But every one of these, because I have these out of my deck, you've got all these areas in between, all the slats, all right, where the screws are going in. All those areas that normally you would have to use a regular stippling brush to do that, you don't have to do that. Now, we've let this dry, and I've changed the paint colors. To turn it on, first of all, you just fill it full of paint. You dial up the amount of power that you want, and then you just figure out whether you want to go a vertical spray or an up and down. I'm doing an up and down spray, and I'm just going to do this motion very easily. I'm going to turn it on. The compressor is up here by my arm. It's very, very comfortable. It's not heavy. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in a left to right motion. I'm going to make sure the paint is started. And this is what I do. I start up top, and I just work my way. I don't know why there it goes. It's taking a while for that paint to feed through. And then I just kind of go up and down. That's all that I need to do to get that great, great color. And as you'll notice, and I'm just going to do half, I'm also getting in between the slats, okay? I don't have to go in there with a separate brush. And you can see how quickly, I'll do an arm, watch this. You see how fast it does that arm of that chair? And I can do the inside very, very easily and the edge. So I've just done that. I'm gonna finish this up just to show you that half the chair is done, okay? And I'll just do the top of the arm there. But I'm gonna turn it off, and I want you to see, I just did the top half of this chair, but I don't have to go back in with a brush, Lou. I don't have to go back in with the little stippling detailing brush. I don't have to get paint dripping out the back. And I'm conserving paint, because when you pressurize paint and add air to it, not only do you get better even coverage, but you get more saturation of the paint, and you can add as much as you want. So if you want it a little heavier, you just go over it a couple more times, versus glopping it on with a brush or trying to roll it on, which is impossible. Nobody wants to do that. This is the tent that we were talking about that's available. So if you are doing things like chairs, and it's actually really big, I could do 2 or 3 Adirondack chairs in there. That is available if you'd like to pick that up. We're showing you some of the different ways you can use it. There's lots of features, Lou. I know we have multiple settings, multiple speeds of the paint in the compressor, but honestly, all you have to know to do really is how to pull a trigger, right?
Yeah. No, it's point and shoot. It really is, and that's what's so cool about this. And I used to have 4 Adirondack chairs, and I had done them with a roller and then the brush, and I dreaded doing it every year. And then I wised up and I started using the Wagner, and it just made it go so much faster. I mean, it was like, instead of like a full day job, it took it down to like an hour. It was so easy to do all the chairs. Now, even though Adirondack chairs can be a nightmare, there's nothing worse than wicker. I'm gonna tell you right now, straight up. Wicker has so many voids and so many tiny little holes in it. And just like you were painting that chair, you went from a teal to an orange in one coat, completely covered it. Watch me do this chair here. And I want you to see how I get into all the nooks and crannies on this. Because to me, it's always so amazing how much time having my Wagner FLEXIO 3500 plus, or any of my Wagners, is gonna save me time when I'm doing a project like this, because I don't have to come back and do this again. I don't have to do a second coat on this. I don't have to stipple to get into all these little crevices, and there are just a ton of them. And if you've ever seen somebody paint a wicker chair and not do a good job, it looks absolutely horrible. It's so easy to mess up on wicker that, if you can do it with a sprayer like this, this is absolutely what you want to do. So we're going to go all the way down to the legs, and I'm going to call that done. There is no way that I could have painted this chair this fast and this completely if I didn't have the Wagner to do it. And Guy, the other thing is, this is going to dry really fast. So again, it's one less thing that I got to wait around for.
Yeah, because you're not glopping it on. I mean, you're wasting paint. There's a reason that painting jobs piss people off, right? They don't like to do them. Nobody wants to paint anything. It's like when I was a kid, my dad would be like, hey, do me a favor, go dig the mulch pile. I'd be like, oh, Dad, really? He'd be like, we have to do it. You got to churn that mulch. And I hated that job. If I had that shovel, if I had the Wonder shovel, it probably wouldn't have been as bad, because we were using old school shovels back then. But it's the same with a paint job. If you have to paint something, and as I said earlier, I painted the dean of our college's house with my brother all summer about 30 some odd years ago, right? We did it. We enjoyed it because we were together and we're brothers, and we were listening to George Michael music and stuff. I'm dating myself. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I know it's a weird story, but for some reason George Michael was big back then. So anyway, so we're out there, and I remember it took forever because we were using rollers and paintbrushes. We didn't have power sprayers like professional painters are using, but that's what power painters or professional painters do. They don't go out with a brush.
Right.
Are you kidding me? They'd be sitting there for weeks at a time. They want to paint a house in a day, not in a week or 2 days. That's the most they want to spend depending on the size of the house, and that is why painters prefer to use, and they do. I mean, I don't know if a painter who's a professional painter doesn't use power sprayers. They'd never make money if they didn't, right? Because they get the job done. So I did half the chair. I'm going to do the rest of the chair just to show you how easy that this is. Now, I'll make sure I've got plenty of paint coming out here. All right, so I did half the chair before. I'll just try to finish it up. I'm going to start in the front. I'm going to show you how easy this is. And remember, we're getting really great coverage up and down. I'm going inside. I'll finish, I'll do this, the arm of this chair as well. Okay, there we go. Now, if you get an air bubble, it just takes a second for the paint to access, and I'm gonna just give it a little tilt and get it back going. I might be out of paint. Yeah, I think I am. Guys, I'm out of paint. You're gonna have to load me back up. I actually went over, I ran out of paint in that buckle. I was wondering why I felt a little bit light. But let's talk about the value of this, okay? I know you can go out and you can spend $180, $190 on a paint spray system. We're not gonna make you do that today. Our value is $209. We dropped the price down to $119.95. And remember, we're giving you the cup liners, we're giving you the sprayers. You're getting the tape and drape. All that is included. So you're ready to go on your first job. So what kind of project is it? Is it your deck? Is it a door? Is it your front door to your house? Maybe you got a shed like me or a garage area that you want to watch. Maybe you just want to paint your kid's bicycle, right? You don't feel like, you ever tried to paint a bike? That's another thing that's not easy. Lots of places to go around corners. Or maybe you want to refinish some furniture. Remember, Lou, you can use any kind of paint in here, right?
You absolutely can, yeah. And that's the thing about this, because it has that X-Boost turbine, you don't have to dilute anything when you put it in here. You don't have to thin any paints. You can use, you know, if you want to go with your latex paints, if you want to use stains, if you want to go with milk paint, chalk paint, I mean, any kind of paint, but you don't have to add water to it. You don't have to dilute anything. So when you paint something, that's why you don't have to do multiple coats. You're putting that full layer of paint on there. And real quick, not only is this the lightest and quietest, but it's the most customizable that we've ever sold. If you look at the top of this right here, you're going to see there's the dial that actually controls what we call that X-Boost turbine, okay? It controls the airflow, the force that the paint's coming out with. And there's even a little diagram here at the bottom that shows you a couple different jobs you might do, like, you know, if you're painting a fence or a piece of furniture inside, outside your house, it suggests numbers that you can use, but you can customize that as well. This dial right here controls the amount of material coming out. Am I using stain, paint, what is it? It doesn't matter, but I can turn that dial and it'll tell this how much paint to throw. This little dial up here controls how wide or how narrow the stream of paint is. And then, of course, you can adjust from vertical to horizontal just by turning those around. And the direction that they're facing is the direction it's going to paint. Then you got your trigger on the side right here. We got the on-off switch. Watch this, though. I'm going to paint this fence. Now, if you've ever painted a fence, you know raw wood, it's not primed, it's going to soak up anything I put on there. This is an undiluted stain that I've got in here. I'm going to turn this on. It's spray on demand, so as soon as I pull that trigger, watch this. I'm going to come up to this. Now, the wood on this is soaking this up. There's no two ways about it. But I've also got this tuned up so that I'm putting out a pretty good amount of stain at one time. So it's going to counteract that by putting a really nice coating of stain down from the get-go. That very first pass is going to be a nice thick pass. And you know, Guy, we were talking about how fast it dries. When you use this, let's say I was painting a room, you know, 4 walls in a room, right? By the time I get to the 4th wall, that first wall is going to be dry. So if I did have to do a second coat of paint, I don't have to wait around for it to dry. I'm ready to keep going, you know? So your projects are going to get done faster. And remember, at the end of the day, you're going to use less material to do the same size job. It's going to dry faster, and you're going to have more fun doing it. Okay, I'm going to do one little spot up here. Boom. My friends, we are done. And that is a complete coat of paint, Guy, for something that was bare wood. Look at that.
Lou, I don't know if you guys, a lot of you seen my backyard. You know, I have that white fence on the backyard. That fence used to be like moldy green gray, right? It's been there probably for 30 years. When I moved there, the fence was there, and I almost had it replaced. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go sand it off. I've got my Wagner power painter. But here's the truth. I bought a can of spray paint just to see what it would look like. And even with a can of spray paint, to do the first section, it took forever, and I drained an entire can of paint on like 2 slats. Because they're, you know, it's heavy. I had to go all the way around. Don't do that, all right? Use the power sprayer. It's gonna make short work of any difficult job. You're gonna enjoy painting because you're gonna be doing it quickly. I mean, that's the problem with most of the jobs. We know if a job's gonna take 4 or 5 hours, we're not excited to do it, but if you're gonna take 30 minutes to paint a room, because the average 8x10 wall is about 5 minutes. For an 8x10 wall, that's 5 minutes. And you don't have to put several coats on because you're in control of the amount of paint. When you use a roller or a brush, Lou, you're not in control of the amount of paint, right? The minute you put that roller or brush to the wall, it sucks the paint right off, and now you gotta go back and re-dip. With a sprayer, you have an unlimited source of paint, right? And you can decide how much you wanna put on there. That's really the big difference to me, Lou.
No, well, and you know, this Wagner, if you turn this up all the way, full air, full material spread, you're gonna go through 8 gallons of paint an hour, but you're gonna cover a lot of ground in that time. You'll be painting a whole lot with that. But you know what, when you're done, Guy, it's not like when you have a paint, you know, a brush and a roller and all that, where you've got trays that you've got to clean out, and then you've got the brushes, and you got the roll, and it's a huge project. With your Wagner, it's gonna break down, just the nozzle part of this breaks down to 5 pieces. It literally takes 5 minutes to clean that. You are getting cup liners for these as well, so if you use the cup liners, you don't even have to clean out the cups. So, you know, another bonus with that, which is fantastic. But let's do another quick job, and what I'm actually gonna do this time is I'm gonna paint the spindles, then I'm gonna do the deck here, but I'm gonna change out the 2 nozzles, because you are getting 2 nozzles. This is the detail nozzle that I've got in here right now, and then I'm gonna change it to what we call the Ispray, which is a larger one for the bigger jobs, okay? So here we go, I'm gonna turn this on, and you'll see right away, I do have full control of this as well, and I can go all the way down here, and it's doing my gosh, just a killer job here, Guy. Putting out a nice fine spray. Now, the other difference with the detail nozzle, you have more control, but it's also a smoother finish. So this is gonna give me, boom, look at that, we're already done. That's gonna give me a smoother finish than I get with the eye detail. Not that it's a rough finish with the Ispray. Not that it's a rough finish, but it just has a little bit more texture. Now, we have a system here we call lock and go. If I press down right here next to the cup and I rotate, the whole turbine comes off the back, okay? Then I'm gonna pick up the next paint cup, and this is also how you can switch out colors really fast too. I'm gonna put this on here, I'm gonna snap that into place. Now that's on there nice and tight, and I'm ready to go on the next section. Now watch this, turn this on, and we're gonna do the deck. Normally, doing a deck is absolutely back-breaking work. You know, even if you've got a roller, because I don't care how good a job you do, you're gonna end up at some point on your hands and knees cutting in. You're gonna wind up having to get down there and stipple in between the boards. You know what I'm talking about. But when you've got your Wagner, just like this, look how quick I can do this. In fact, I'm getting ready to do my dock and put a fresh coat on that of stain. And I'm telling you, there's no other way I would ever do it again now that I've done it with the Wagner. And look how fast I did that. I mean, it's springtime. Now's the time to freshen up the outside of your house, the inside of the house, get all those projects done, but it shouldn't have to be a chore. With the Wagner, not a chore.
Well, here's what I'll tell you, all right? If you like painting the old-fashioned way, you go ahead and have at it, okay? But for me, there's a heck of a lot better ways that I can spend a summer day than sitting inside my house and painting for 6 to 8 hours. Now, when you think about what it takes to paint 4 walls, okay? And you still have to tape and do all that stuff, and I get all that. There's a little bit of downtime, but the actual painting is about 5 minutes, okay, to do an 8x10 wall. That means if you have 4 walls, that's 20 to 30 minutes total time between taping and painting. I mean, that's a half hour to get your bedroom looking brand new, to make it gorgeous, or to do your guest room or your bathroom. I mean, and again, you know, and remember, always wear a mask when you're painting. That's always a good idea. But remember, because you're not talking about gloppy paint, you're not gonna have to worry about that much cleanup. And Lou, I don't know about you, do you ever try to get all that paint off your hands, under your nails?
Oh, yeah.
It gets all over your shoes, it gets everywhere, because regular paint in a bucket is not well controlled, right? You gotta take the paint, you gotta pour it into a pan, or you pour it into a smaller bucket. Then you're taking a drippy brush. And we're not professionals, you know, I know the professional painters, when they do use a brush to cut in or whatever they're doing, they know how to scrape off the paint, all that stuff. We're hacking out there. So why not use a system that the professional, we are though, right? We're just like slopping on.
That's why I'm laughing.
And then you know, your partner comes in and goes, you missed a spot. You missed a spot.
Yep.
You missed a spot. Oh, there's a drip over there. And I'm like, hey, I'm not a professional painter. Well, if you've got a Wagner, you're immediately about 100 steps above the person that's using a brush or a roller. And remember, outdoor projects especially, are you gonna take a paintbrush out to paint a fence? You wanna be there the rest of the week? I mean, how about a deck? Look at that. And not only that, if you paint a deck with a roller or a brush, you know how much paint you're wasting that goes down the cracks and lands underneath? That's a ton of it. If you're a crafter, like my friend Lou Caputo, look at that. Nice, Lou.
Look at that guy. I'm upcycling this right here, and I'm telling you, crafters absolutely love this. Look how complete a job I did right there, how fast I did that. But real quick, we got a minute left. Let's see if I can actually do an entire louver door in 1 minute. Watch this. I'm gonna crank this up. We're gonna get a lot of paint out here. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Do this entire louver door in about 1 minute. Turn up everything. Here we go. Look at this guy. Doing the whole louver.
No
Not
brush.
gonna have to come back and stifle
No
anything.
roller. No brushes.
All the way down.
Wow.
Time.
Done.
Done.
All right, that was
30
like
seconds.
I think that was less than 30 seconds. Well, you know, and the nice thing is you feel the job is better. It'd be one thing if you could do it quicker and it was almost as good.
Yeah.
You're doing it quicker and it's 100 times better. Even, no streaks,
really
no
is.
mess, no drips, none of that stuff. Father's Day is around the corner. If you want to get this for Dad, I encourage you to do that. Don't forget, everything that we offer comes with a great warranty, but if you'd like a little over and above protection, a lot of people do. Check out Protection Plus on hsn.com. 24/7 deductibles, 24/7 customer service, and no deductibles. You can check it out at hsn.com. All right, Mr. Caputo, thank you, my friend. I know you're coming back again next hour with another great demonstration, but thanks so much, buddy. Good job.
You're welcome, my friend. See ya. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too, my friend. All right, if you want additional paint cups, there they are. I got 2 of them.